What's up, metalheads? Welcome to the Lunatics of Metal. Blah, 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 blah. I'm your host, JT, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts,
Jim.
Alpha, Jimmy.
With the ski.
What's up? With a ski. We got the ski.
Clinton County Holy Water.
There you go. There you go. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing tonight?
Good. You?
Good. I'm fucking sweating like a whore on dollar day. It's warm in the studio tonight.
Yeah, it's a little warm in here too.
Yeah, it's cooking. It's cooking outside, and I've got the air and the fan going in here, but it's not helping. I still got swamp ass, so. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But so tonight we're talking about the Almighty Testament. In particular, we're going to be talking about the album Low from 1994.
Yep, 1994.
1994.
October 4th.
October 4th of 94. Testament, big fan of Testament, but it's funny, I got into Testament later. I listened to them, when I was younger, like New Order and stuff like that. But I got into them more when I got older. Don't really know why. It's just how it worked out for me. But let's talk a little bit about the band here. Testament is an American thrash metal band from Berkeley, California, formed in 1983 under the name Legacy. The band's current lineup includes rhythm guitarist Eric Peterson, lead vocalist Chuck Billy, lead guitarist Alex Skolnick, bassist Steve DiGiorgio, and drummer Chris Dovas. Testament has experienced many lineup changes over the years, with Peterson being the only remaining original member, though they have since reunited with Skolnick, who left the band from 92 but rejoined in 2005. You
could argue that point if you really wanted to, because everyone says Chuck isn't the original, but Derek Ramirez was actually in Legacy before Alex Skolnick was around. And then he basically decided not to do it with him. Something, I guess, he's cousins with Eric Peterson. So
gotcha.
They found out about this guitar phenom kid who was a teenager, and next thing you know, the rest was history, and the Legacy was out there tearing it up with Zetro singing.
Yes. Yep.
From Exodus.
Yeah.
But Zetro never recorded except for like one song on a compilation.
He had some demos.
No, he never recorded on something that was officially released, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, there's a lot of history there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In all of these bands, it's funny how, and we've already seen this, and we haven't done, we've done quite a few episodes, but we haven't done a lot. But we've already seen how so many of these bands, you've got this guy leaving to go join this band, and you got that guy, and it's like it's a big family of people just jumping from one band to another, and, next thing you know, you got a bass player from Heavy Ground joining Lunatic and doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and, it's mass anarchy. But
cats and dogs
you're
living
right.
together.
Cats and dogs living together. That's exactly right. It's just really cool how all of these guys really grew up and cut teeth together in all these different bands, but some of them ended up being in the same band, Look at this, like you just said, Billy has been a member of Testament since 1986 when he replaced original frontman Zetro, who had left to replace Paul Bailoff in Exodus. Yep. Come on.
In fact, Zetro knew Chuck from a cover band in the area and recommended him to Eric so he didn't leave him hanging. Because at the time, they hadn't, they were negotiating, I think, but they really hadn't, they hadn't made their mark nationally, where Exodus already had. So I can see where the appeal was probably much better for him to want to leave the band and go to Exodus. Yeah. A lot of people would have made that move.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time, Exodus was hitting really hard.
Yeah. And then
Literally.
Chuck, the band he came from, was more like, it wasn't a heavy band either. More like
No, it was just like a rock
Dokken
cover
and-
band.
or whatever. You know, just, more rock.
Testament is often credited as one of the most popular and influential bands of the thrash metal scene, as well as one of the leaders of the second wave of the genre of the late 80s. And they are considered a significant member of the so-called Big Six of Bay Area thrash metal, along with Exodus, Death Angel, Laws Rocket, Forbidden, and Violence. All of those are great bands. Huh?
Metallica.
Yeah, but they were part of the Big Four.
Yeah, but Anthrax wasn't in Bay Area.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Slayer
That's
was
true.
in Huntington Beach.
Right.
So it's kind of a misleading little
I
thing.
guess they
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
they were already in their own Big Four group. Everybody's
Yeah.
so obsessed with the Big Four.
Look at that. They did it before Metallica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that.
But I was in on
No, don't
Testament
take
from the
that.
first record. Well, I first heard that cassette in, 87, I think, when it came out. And I was just hooked.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. See, I got into them during the New Order in 88, and then, of course, Practice What You Preach in 89.
I gobbled them all up.
Yeah, those were big for me. Souls in Black was really good. I didn't listen to them as much as I should have. I'll just be brutally honest with you on that. I should have listened to them more. Of course, they have one of my favorite bass players, Steve DiGiorgio. I've been into him since he was playing with Chuck in Death,
Well, and on this record and original member was Greg Christian. And he's no slouch himself.
He was a good bass player, yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought he
absolutely.
was very
Yeah,
good.
He was. So, you want to know how I got into Testament?
Yes, absolutely.
There's a common theme here. Jim Hicks, my freshman year of high school, when I met him, he made me a compilation tape with different Testament from the first, I think at that point, there would have been Practice What You Preach.
Practice was, I believe, 90.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was probably out by then.
Yeah, so it was, Legacy.
First
Yeah,
three.
Practice What You
First three
Preach was
records.
1989.
Yeah, 89. So it was,
Okay,
yeah,
close enough.
89. So it was all those songs from that album. So, and then the Hard and Heavy video again.
The
But,
video
I
tape.
knew him from already before that video, though.
Well, the big video that was getting shown on the Headbangers Ball was Trial by Fire.
Yeah.
That got a lot of airplay.
Yeah.
We
Over
saw
the wall,
that a
too. I
lot.
remember on Headbangers Ball, I remember Over the Wall, too.
I saw that occasionally, but not nearly as much as Trial. That
Yeah,
was
you're
kind of
probably
their
right.
that was their de facto hit, really.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that.
But then the song "Practice What You Preach" did really well for them, also. And that video, I remember Chuck telling the story. They were so pissed because the band was finally starting to get a little bit of money in by that point. They were on Atlantic Records the whole time for the first 5 records. And they spent almost $500,000 building this set, because videos were expensive back then. And they built this set up and had the whole thing so they could do Souls of Black. And looked spectacular. I thought it was a great looking video. And then the record company, since the set was already built, brought Firehouse in and shot Baby Don't Treat Me Bad on it like 2 weeks later. And they were so pissed because they didn't have to spend any money.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
I did not know that.
That's cool.
I can't say
That's
as I
cool.
would blame them,
That's funny, though.
No, absolutely.
But on Low, this was kind of a transitional record because this is the first record where they really didn't have the original lineup. They had Louis basically left, the drummer, and then they had Skolnick leave after the Ritual.
Yeah.
So they had James Murphy come in, and I think they had, what was
John
it?
Tempesta.
John
Tempesta on this-
Tempesta.
And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, Tempesta's drum performance on that album
Unless
is
you-
great.
Yeah.
Of course, unless you count the EP, Return to Apocalyptic City.
Wow. But Tempesta's performance on this album was great. James Murphy's solos were fantastic on this album.
Yeah.
I love this album.
Yeah, it's very good
It's
album.
a great album.
Very good.
And I saw this tour also.
Oh, I did
Yeah, I remember Steve Russell, the guitar player in Heavy Ground. His James Murphy was one of his favorite guitar players.
Yeah,
You know,
awesome.
he was a huge James Murphy fan.
And it's funny because before that, James had been in several different death metal bands where his soloing was supposed to be more akin to something you hear from Slayer, where it's more chaotic.
Yeah,
And
well,
then-
yeah.
I always
I mean,
thought he
look
brought
at the
atmosphere.
people he was hanging out with. You know, he played with
But-
Cancer, Obituary, Death. You know,
But my point I was trying to make, though, was that that's what those bands wanted him to do. They didn't want him to be an actual real shredder.
But he did.
Right.
I thought, like, especially on Obituary and things, he played great melodic leads, I thought.
I know,
He
and,
brought
they, and
melody
they
to-
they basically ripped him when he did that. They're like, dude, play something that's more, whammy bar and, go nuts. And, he was more about doing stuff like he did on this record. And you can hear that on his later work where he's
Right.
in charge.
Right.
Yeah, Disincarnate after that.
hmm
Yeah.
And, of course, he had another stint with the band, too, on Demonic. Or not Demonic, The Gathering.
Was he on again?
Yeah.
That's another thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he had 2 go-arounds with the band that I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just forgot about that.
And that, of course, that one had Lombardo on it, which you're not going to get much better than that.
No.
This Tempesta performance is great, though.
Oh, I agree.
It just
Yeah.
fits
Oh, yeah.
everything so perfect.
Louis
about
was
the sound.
good, and I loved his drumming style because he would put a kick drum in
Mhm.
some of the oddest points of a beat but it felt right. He wasn't necessarily the flashiest or the
He just means
speediest,
potatoes.
but it fit the band. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
later on, they ended up getting some guys who could run marathons on their double bass if they needed to,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
they did.
Yeah, I love the drums.
I know.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
awesome.
Testament live a few times, and every time I see them, they just, they
Well,
blow
me
my
and Jim just
mind the
seen
way.
him- Me and Jim just seen him. What?
Yeah. Oh,
About a month
actually,
ago.
2
at
months
this
ago?
show.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
In May.
Yeah.
Yeah, which unfortunately I missed this show. I had bought tickets for it, but then I had a prior engagement I couldn't get out of, so I ended up giving the tickets to a buddy of mine. But
And that was a great show too. They did
Yeah,
the
that's-
practice album and then played all their acoustic stuff.
yeah, that's what he was telling me. He said it was really cool. He got a really cool poster from that from
I got
there
one,
that's
too.
autographed.
I
Yeah,
got
that
the same
thing's
one.
badass, dude.
It's
And then
heavyweight
he
too.
picked me up a shirt. And I was like, thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, Testament, man. He introduced me to him when I was a freshman in high school, and I just I loved him right away. It was one of the
Yeah.
bands that I was big into him right away. But yeah, this album, Low, man, and like Jim said, they got new members, and this was a weird time in metal too, because thrash was like a bad word, metal in general. You had new metal even, starting to come out, and everybody was kind
Right.
of doing more experimental things.
Death metal was blowing up.
Death metal was blowing up.
Yep.
People were doing their black albums and the new metal and all kinds of things.
Alternative was
Alternative
kings of
was
the
blowing
radio.
up.
Yeah.
But this
You
album,
had so
man,
many different styles going off at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time,
And this album, it's got a different style to it, especially compared to the Ritual. But it's a great
Right.
album, man.
Yeah. It's definitely
Definitely.
different when you listen to it.
To me, this is like the best representation of pretty much like the whole gamut of what they can pull off on a record.
what they can do.
This and The Gathering to me are kind of the best representations.
Mhm.
They got the really heavy, brutal stuff like Dogface Gods is about as heavy as they ever get.
Right.
And that's an amazing tune, probably my favorite on the record.
It's one of the greatest Testament. It's one of the greatest metal songs.
Then
of
they
all
got
time.
Trail of Tears on here, which is just an epic ballad.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
the lead work in that by Murphy is just so soulful. And the man can just effortlessly run on those little trills and, legato licks that he does. And it just sounds perfect.
I agree.
And you never would have missed Skolnick, sadly to say, as much as I love his style too.
Same.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree with everything you just said. This is a fantastic album. I think everything about this is.
And the
album
band
is
almost
perfect.
folded on this too.
Yeah. Well, and I was just noticing this was their last album with Atlantic.
They got dropped
Um,
after this.
They got dropped after this and ended up going. They created their own label called Burnt Offerings Incorporated.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But then let's see, their first 4 studio albums were co-released through Megaforce Records.
Yeah, because they had signed with Megaforce initially, and then inked a deal with Atlantic also. So it was kind of I think it was a distribution deal more so at first, but they were ultimately on Atlantic Records when they were blowing up. Because I think Atlantic bought out Megaforce, or maybe the contract expired. You know,
I didn't know company. This. Low was dedicated to Savatage guitarist Chris Olivia.
That doesn't surprise me because
who died while Testament was working on the album.
Skolnick was a huge Savatage fan, so you know the Oliva brothers were so paramount to that band too, and that's where Skolnick went to after he joined Savatage after he left this.
Really?
Yeah, he did that album Handful of Rain, which, and I'll be flat honest with you, I like Savatage. That to me is the clunker album. It doesn't feel right to me.
I've never heard that one.
I've got a copy of it.
And it's so weird because, like, I look at Skolnick and Murphy, like, you know, I couldn't choose between the two of them, you know, if I had to, you know. They're both phenomenal guitar players.
They're one of those guys who are in that upper tier of guitar players on solos. And it's not so much necessarily their ability, but their creativity.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree.
They could probably solo for days and you'd still want to hear it all.
Yeah.
Not one of those widdly guys.
Yeah. Testament toured for approximately 2 years to promote Low, playing with bands like Machine Head, Downset, Korn, Forbidden, Creator, At the Gates, Moonspell, Crowbar, Suffocation. Somebody we'll have to talk about at some point.
Now, who opened when we saw them?
Red Square Black.
Okay.
A band called Red Square Black and a band called Wickerman.
And Red Square Black had John Five in it when he was about probably 21 years old.
And
with Randy Castillo on drums.
And there was
it's crazy because you know you guys that have been paying attention to the show. John Five is one of my favorite guitar players right now.
Yeah, if you don't have Red Square Black, you might want to check it out. It's more industrial-like.
I didn't care for
I'm not too happy about the whole Motley Crue thing going on right now, but
who is, except for John Five?
Yeah, no shit. You know, because he's getting rich off of it.
Well, but he didn't control it. You know, he just took advantage of the situation.
He's just a hired gun.
Yeah, I doubt he's getting full band share. He's probably getting paid handsomely though. So that's the best of both worlds.
Sure he is.
No responsibility, but still get the check.
I'm sure he is. Right.
But no, this album,
yes,
it was like they almost folded because of the band members leaving. You know, Louis basically got fed up because the scene changed with, music in general and didn't want to really push it. I don't think he was really wanting to be a lifer anyway. You know, I think he wanted to get into his thing and get out. And he did come back for a little bit and play on some reunion stuff with the guys, but last I knew, he owned some antique store in New York or something.
I heard that too.
But then Alex kind of got basically just fed up with metal in general and went to go do jazz. He did that for like a decade, and then finally came back in the fold when they called on him to do that Return to Apocalyptic City. Excuse me, not that one.
Another.
First Strike's Still Deadly.
Yeah, First Strike's Still Deadly.
Sorry, got my signals crossed. Which was a re-record of select tracks from the first 2 records.
Nice.
And that's one of the few times I enjoy the re-record as much or more than the originals when bands do that.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that with the Bonded by Blood re-record.
I could see that, but more often than not, I will say no.
It is damn good. But like you were just talking about this, while the band's thrash roots were intact, Low featured a more diverse sound compared to previous Testament albums, which drew influence from progressive and alternative metal as well as elements of death metal and groove metal. There was actually, I thought this was interesting. It was from a 2013 interview with Eric Peterson. He said, we then got our last chance with Atlantic to do stuff a bit different. Their music director came to us and said, we want you guys to give us an alternative record. According to the word alternative, that would mean something totally different. So I came up with Dog-Faced Gods, which is more leaning towards death metal. And I went, here you go. This is our alternative.
And here's the thing: a lot of people may or may not know, but the band, when they were about to cancel the band out altogether, they were going to call the new project Dog-Faced Gods and go that direction.
Nice.
And also at this same time, or not this same time, towards the end of this record, Sepultura had parted ways with Max, and Chuck had actually auditioned to join Sepultura.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Max left at 96.
Yeah, I know. I said towards the end of this run.
Yeah.
So, they toured almost 2 years on this.
Yeah,
and they opted not to go with him, which that would have been interesting to hear Chuck and Sepul.
Yeah, that would have been different.
I'm kind of glad it didn't happen too, but I think it would have made Sepul much more listenable for me nowadays, because I'm just not a fan of Derek Green.
I don't mind him. It's just the whole principle of the thing for me with the Cavalier brothers, but that's another topic.
Right,
of course,
right. And now there's nobody. There's not one original member left in that band.
No. They're retiring,
and it's just weird. It's weird when bands do that.
Yeah, I don't like when bands do that. I don't like that.
I mean, it happens all the time, but it just, I don't know.
I don't like it.
I don't agree with it.
I mean, look at Foreigner these days. They've been touring without original members for a decade.
But Testament, man, to me, they've been one of the most consistent bands. Like, there's not a Testament album I do not like.
Yeah, there's not a clunker.
Not at all.
Even the Ritual, it's different, but it's dark and heavy.
Right, it's my least favorite, but I still like it. It's still good.
That was them trying to kind of chase the Black Album by Metallica, I think. Because there's almost no double bass in that record.
Everybody was doing their Black Albums at the time. But that wasn't bad. But, man, this album fucking kills. I love this album. Every track on this album is just solid. Do you have any favorites, Gerald?
Top three?
So me, I don't know this album as well as you guys probably do. But, I would say Dog-Faced Gods is probably really high up there on my list. I like Trail of Tears, as different as it is, I like it, but, I definitely got to go with Dog-Faced Gods. And for some reason, I like the PC song, too.
That's cool.
They're all good.
There's no
I mean, the whole thing is really good, The whole thing is really good.
Oh, did you say Trail of Tears?
Yeah.
What do you rank this album, Joe?
For me,
out of 10,
I would probably, as great as an album as it is, I would probably give it a 7.5. I love Testament, but they're not one of my favorites. It's really weird. When I was talking to Harry about that one time, he was talking about how he had seen Testament more than any other band. I'm a fan of Testament, but I never was a huge fan of them. I'd listen to them. I'm gonna say though, man, their new album, Titans of Creation, fuck, dude. I think it just fucking smokes, man. I love that fucking album. It's fucking great. Love it.
Testament's always been one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
They always
same here, and I've seen them probably a dozen times or more myself.
Yeah.
Now, Harry was nice enough that he got to see him in the early days, like at Mississippi Nights on the first record or two.
Okay, right on. Yeah.
I think one of the shows
I've probably
was
only seen
them.
Exodus. Yeah, I've probably only seen them 3, maybe 4 times. That I can think of just off the top of my head. Maybe more, but it's intermittent. Intermittent though. What would you rate this, Andy?
Well, I love every track on here. my 3 favorite tracks, I would have to go with Hail Mary, Chasing Fear, and my number 1 is Dogface Gods. That song.
That's just a fucking great song,
just
dude.
a great song. But every song on here is great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna rate this album? I'm gonna give this album a 10.
No shit. Nice.
Straight up 10.
Nice.
This album rules to me. It's just great.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. Every track on it. Even the instrumental at the end, the last call, the vibe of that, the way it, ends the album. Yeah. It's just everything about this album is perfect. What's the instrumental? I can't pronounce it, but
that's that one with the Japanese sound effects.
Yeah, Japanese anime. Apparently,
yeah,
it's something about that.
It's like Japanese hentai porn.
Every song, man. Low, Legions, Hail Mary, Trail of Tears, Shades of War, PC, Dogface Gods, All I Could Believe.
You're a Soki Duji?
Instrumental. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one.
Yeah, every track is good, but I'm going to give this album a 10.
Nice. That's heavy, man. We don't see too many 10s.
You don't see too many 10s, man.
This would come as no surprise to you guys, but I'm going to give it a 10 also. This is my absolute favorite by Testament.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's tied with the legacy of the New Order.
They're right up there. And The Gathering.
Those 3 are my favorite. What's your favorite track song?
Yeah, see, for me, I think the New Order is probably my favorite. But man, I absolutely love Titans of Creation, though. I just everything about that album fucking hits.
Yeah, that's good.
I was reading through some of this, like they were talking about reviews for Low have been mixed to positive. John Frank awards the album 4 stars out of 5 and states Testament's 6th studio album literally saw the boys from the Bay Area fighting for their lives in the unfriendly surroundings of the alternative nation. Wisely, the band decided to try something completely different and join forces with Rage Against the Machine, Melvin's producer, Gigi Garth Richards, with temporary drummer John Tempesta. Low failed to match the critical or popular acclaim of Testament's previous albums, peaking only at number 122 on the Billboard Top 200. The band's second lowest chart position after 1988's The New Order.
The label didn't really push this record either. That's the other thing, because they got dropped on it.
And then we were talking about the place where metal was in general. It
was a bad word.
It wasn't a good
everybody was going down.
And they did change some, but I've seen a lot of people give this album either so-so reviews or dog shit. Like they think it's dog shit. I'm like it's like a new metal album.
It's not even close to new metal.
New metal at all.
Right.
And this album gets a bad rap to me. I've heard this get a lot of bad rap, and I'm like, this album is fucking perfect. I don't understand.
Yeah. See, I don't give this album bad rap. I think for me, it kind of flew a little under the radar for me because 1994 was right in the middle of us writing all those death metal riffs and stuff for Heavy Ground, back when we used to be Fatality. And so we spent a lot of time listening to nothing but death metal. And so for me, this album wasn't even really on my radar. I mean, I knew it came out, but it was like I was busy with other stuff,
I'll be honest. At that time, I listened to ask Jim. Probably the majority was death metal.
Yeah,
I was huge into death metal then, but still, the New Testament, the New Overkill, the New Pantera. I'm still getting stuff like that too. But this album.
Yeah, the New Pantera was a big one for us too.
Yeah. Cannibal Corpse had the bleeding. But this album, man, is just, I don't know what it is about it, but I love everything about it.
That's funny. When did Vulgar Display come out?
92.
92, okay.
Far Beyond, I believe, was 94, if I remember.
Yeah.
And that debuted number 1, which was a punch to the face of everyone at Billboard because metal was supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
That album took me a little bit to grow on, and I love that album for 94, but I would pick this album over Pantera Vulgar Display.
I would too.
As much as I love Far Beyond Driven, but I like this better for 94.
Right.
little bit.
Yeah, if I was going to pick my 3 songs, I would probably go with Low, Trail of Tears, and Dogface Gods as my number 1.
Yeah. That's one of the greatest metal songs ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
that
song is just so pissed.
And everything about it, the vocals, the guitar work, everything.
The harmonies.
Everything about that song is perfect. It's brutal. It's versatile. I don't know. Love it.
It's metal.
Metal.
But Tempesta wasn't supposed to have been a temporary drummer for them. He ended up getting robbed by Rob Zombie.
Oh, yeah,
because that's when
when
White Zombie was starting to fail, and they brought in Tempesta on the Astro Creep record.
Yeah.
And of course, he played all those disco beats that Rob told him to play.
Yeah, like that's why this album he's a great drummer.
Before this, he was an Anthrax roadie.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
he was with Exodus,
94 was a crazy year, dude.
Imminent.
I forgot about that record.
Yeah, he was on Exodus, Impact is Imminent.
I was just looking at 94, like the top 11 albums come out in 94, and there's a lot of albums that came out that year that I forgot about. Halloween, Master of Rings came out that year. Dream Theater, Awake.
That's killer.
Yeah, Machine Head, Burn My Eyes.
That's amazing.
Fucking killer album. Megadeth, Euthanasia. Good album, but not their best work. Mayhem put out an album that I can't pronounce. And then, of course, Cannibal Corpse, The Bleeding. And then Korn's self-titled album came out. And then, of course, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah. There's a
lot of fucking heavy hitters come out that year, man.
And that's just a portion of them.
That's just a small snippet.
Yeah. 94 had some bangers, man.
Yeah.
Overkill had an album that year, Wide Fucking Open. And was it Prong Cleansing 94?
That sounds about right. If not, it's right there with it. Within a year.
Beads of Flesh. Trading Pieces. Is that 94?
Maybe. But the funny part with this one is when Testament came back, they went with Demonic. And everyone thought, with the Low record, they kind of came back to their heavy roots. So now they're going to pull back and do something more commercial. That was what everyone was thinking was going to happen. And all of a sudden they said, they basically put a middle finger up to everyone and did a death metal record.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's what Demonic is.
It's almost death metal, kind of. Death thrash.
And Chuck's death style of vocals to me is better than any other death metal vocalist that I've heard.
He's got a great voice. Versatile.
He's my all-time favorite vocalist in metal.
He's one of mine, for sure too.
Yeah, he does have a killer voice, man.
He's got all the tools.
He's still got a killer voice, man. When you see them live, he's still got a powerful voice.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because as old as he is,
Had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still plugging, man.
Yeah.
That Mexican Indian.
He's, pretty much, the backbone of the band with Peterson this whole time being the stewards since everything fell apart after the Ritual.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, Eric doesn't get enough credit, but he writes so many good riffs.
He's a riff master.
This record is basically all him because there's no Skolnick on here. He didn't pair up and write songs with them.
Yeah, he wrote the shit, and James Murphy just added leads to his shit.
Yeah, Murphy's audition was basically soloing over the mastered tapes that were already finished, ready for mixing.
He said Dogface Gods was the song they sent him, the first song.
Yeah, and they got the thing back, and it was like, okay, you're in the band. Because I think he was still in Florida at that point. And they were in the Bay Area.
Yeah, everything about this is perfect. Man. His leads, everything. Man.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
Oh, yeah.
Great album. Great.
Yeah, it's definitely highly listenable.
It's very underrated, in my opinion. Gets shit on way too much. I'm like, dude, go back and listen to this motherfucker.
There's so many hooks on this record, too. Like, it's not just that they're good songs. It's every song's got something memorable that can let you remember that song to stand apart. It's different than the other songs. So it's not like it's a run-on sentence like some bands do when they're even if they're good.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I just went in to look at it because I got into demonic more than I did this.
I can see that.
And dude, it's funny if you go and you look at that, all the lyrics were written by Billy, except for New Eyes of Old. Peterson had something to do with it. Billy's name's still on it, but then all the music was written by Peterson.
Yeah.
There's a few songs with Ramirez on there. But,
See, Demonic's one that didn't age well for me. I like it, but it's not one of my favorites.
You know, I haven't listened to it in a long time, so I mean, I might, I can probably see that.
I used to like it a lot more than I do now. I still like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not one of my favorite in their catalog.
I would put it in probably the top 6 or 7.
Yeah, not me. But it's still good. They don't have any bad records.
Right.
It's a good record.
It's a good record.
It's a good record. Good record.
But the hit off that record was probably Burning Times. That was the one everyone got played on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had a video on that record, though. Not that I remember. They probably didn't have the money for it at the time.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody had a lot going on back then.
Well, after getting dropped. You know?
Right.
And that's when they were on their own independently.
And if I remember correctly, they had their own label, but you know it was just on a piece of paper. They have to sign a deal with somebody to release it and market it and do all that stuff. So they signed a deal with the company, and the company went bankrupt like 2 weeks later. I forgot what it was, but it's like that never happens in the record industry. You just don't see that. And so it's like you couldn't find it in a lot of places, and that just hampered the record being released. Eventually it got put out, you know, through another company later.
Right.
Wow, and I didn't realize they had Michael Wagner mix that record. You know, Master of Puppets, Michael Wagner.
Yeah. Nice.
I think Low blows Demonic away, though. I don't even think it's close.
The thing I think they turned the corner on the Low record is sonically, every record from that point on, it's like you can hear everything. It's all tight. It sounds crystal clear. It doesn't.
Right.
There's not really any mud in it. There's not a bunch of booming reverb. It's not something's quieter and you can't hear it, which you could make the case on some of their older records, especially the first two.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But on the first two, you know, people were still figuring out how to record metal, so to speak.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of old thrash classics. That the production was.
Yeah, it was questionable. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
But for some reason,
you're going to listen to it and enjoy the fuck out of it. That's what you're going to do.
For some reason, I don't remember why Murphy was not on Demonic. I forget why he left the band.
I'm not sure either.
But then they brought in Glenn Avalias from Forbidden.
I see him on that tour.
I saw him on that tour at Pops.
Yeah. I've seen him a lot. But yeah, they don't have any bad albums though, man. Testament's just one of the most consistent bands. You're talking about recording though, production. See, to me, a lot of the new ones, they sound too good, and they all sound the same, production-wise. It's just it lost some personality or some character. Like so many of these perfect recordings are all sounding the same to me. So that's kind of a turn-off right there. And Testament does it, Exodus does it, Creator does it. A bunch of these bands that are, you know, still putting out records, they have that same production.
Well, they're using
the same production for 10 albums.
They're using pretty much the same guy, which is Andy Sneap.
I know, and it's just
and I love his production style.
It's perfect, but it's just become too perfect, and everybody sounds too perfect.
Everybody sounds the same.
He's very critical too when he records.
So that's what I'm kind of. It's been a turn off lately. I'm tired of that perfect sound. I want to hear some character. That's my opinion.
And you're entitled to your opinion, mister.
But
yeah.
If you'll also notice, some of the lyric writing on this record, speaking of Low, was also co-written with Del James.
I heard, yeah.
Which Chuck has written on and off with him for 20-some years, 30 years. And if you also notice, Del James used to write with Guns N' Roses on the Use Your Illusion
He inspired
stuff.
November Rain video.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Basically, he did some short stories that Axl did or something along those lines. But I just thought
He's
that
a
was a
good
weird
friend of
pair.
Axl Rose's.
Yeah, I remember watching the video, one of them from that record, or records, and it had his name written on it in the actual music video, like right as it started or right as it ended. You know, like Story by Del James or something.
I remember something like that.
That's wild. Crazy. Crazy. But yeah, Testament, gotta love them. Low,
love them.
great album. You heard it here first.
Great.
We told
If
you.
you haven't heard it first, go buy it.
Go buy the physical fucking.
Go get it. Oh, Andy, you'd be proud of me. I bought a physical copy of a CD this week.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Well, it's nothing you'd be interested in, but it was Brian Setzer Orchestra.
My dad
The Dirty
loves him.
Boogie.
I grew up on him. Yeah, my dad loves Brian Setzer.
I absolutely love this album, but I had gotten it from a guy. I had a guy at work that he liked to buy CDs. He bought used CDs all the time. He'd buy hundreds at a time, and he'd always bring them to work before he took them home, and he'd let me go through them, and whatever I'd find in there, I'd pull out, and I'd put in my computer. And anyway, he had this album in there, and I put it in my computer, and just fell in love with it. And I noticed that some of the tracks, like, they skip, you know, and I was like, So I started looking for it. I'm like, I'm going to download it, you know. Download that on iTunes, it was like $11. I'm like, man, that's kind of steep for an album that came out in 1998. So I got on Amazon. Amazon had it for $6.49. I'm like,
The physical copy. Yeah.
mine.
There you go, man.
So I bought it.
There you go.
And now it sits right here next to my Bonded by Blood. So, anyway, I like Brian Setzer. It's funny. I've been on a, like, I don't know, I guess a rockabilly kick here lately.
Ever since
Been listening to Brian Setzer and Stray Cats, of course.
Noise.
Yeah.
Setzer's a great player.
He is.
Grip.
He is.
I remember watching him when I was real little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, my dad's always loved him. Stray Cats and Brian Setzer and all that shit.
At one point, he was so big he couldn't go anywhere because everyone
fit through
knew
the door.
Right. Yeah. I was really big into Stray Cats when I was younger. So whenever he went to do this, you know, orchestra thing, you know, and it's funny because, like, he does a lot of the Stray Cat stuff on here, but it sounds different. You know, it's just not the same.
Right.
But, like, he's got Rock This Town on here, and you almost can't recognize it.
We do that in my cover band.
Do you really? That's cool.
Cover band, we haven't played almost a year, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did we play it when you seen us play?
Not that I remember, but you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, thirsts.
But anyway, that's Testament Low for the evening.
Fantastic
So
bracket.
what's on the agenda for next week?
I think it's the Metal Church episode, if I remember correctly, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I think we'll have to get into some Metal Church the Dark.
Gerald told us he wanted to pick, so
Yeah.
My favorite metal.
Yeah. Fantastic album, man. Fantastic.
Anyway, well,
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's our show for tonight. Go out, get you some Testament. You know, I don't care what Testament you buy. Fuck, buy it all. It's all good. Have fun. Listen to some Testament. Listen to Low. Have a killer time. Keep it metal.
how low can you go?
low, 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 low. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Oh, no. But anyway, till next week, guys. Stay metal.
Later.
Tell me what happened to the term respect. You take advantage of it with no regrets. You had nothing when I took you when you were supposed to be my friend. You just shoot it like all the rest. Then you left. You'll be sorry you knew my name. You ain't never been a bird out flame. You shit on me for the last time. But now you're on your own, boy. No more free rides. With your man in the book and you still have to do that line. You given me nothing but the seat. You got me nothing but the seat.